All right, buckle up, because India's adventure motorcycle scene is about to get really interesting. Today, we're breaking down the brand new 2025 TVS RTX 300. And trust me, this bike is looking to completely shake up the affordable adventure space. So, you might be asking, why is this bike getting so much hype? Well, it all boils down to one simple, undeniable truth. India loves adventure tours. I mean, just look at the absolute craze around bikes like the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450. The market is huge, it's hungry, and it looks like TVS is finally ready to serve up a real feast. And let's be clear, this isn't just another Apache with long travel suspension. Nope. TVS is building this as a completely new motorcycle, a whole new family, separate from their famous Apache brand. That's a huge statement. It tells us they're not just dipping their toes in the water. They're going all in, aiming squarely at the big guns like Royal Enfield and KTM. Okay, so that's the big picture. Now let's get into the details. How did this all come about? And more importantly, when can you actually get your hands on one? So, this bike has been kind of a ghost. It was shown off privately, behind closed doors, way back at the Bharat Mobility Auto Expo at the start of 2025. Since then, TVS has been busy, spending the year tweaking and perfecting it. And now, they've set the date, October 15th, 2025. That is a very smart move. They're dropping it right in the middle of the festive season, which is just perfect for grabbing everyone's attention. Okay, let's talk about what's really important, the heart of the beast, the engine. And I have to stress this is not some warmed-over motor from another bike. It's brand new from the ground up. This is where the story of the RTX really begins. They're calling it the RTX D4 engine. So what does that mean? Well, it's a 299cc single-cylinder engine, and crucially, it's liquid-cooled. Now, for an adventure bike, that's a huge deal. Liquid cooling means it can run harder for longer without overheating. Think long highway stints or tough off-road climbs. That's where this really pays off. So the big question, how much power are we talking? The number floating around is 35 brake horsepower. Now, to put that in perspective, that's the kind of power that puts it right in the ring with its main competitors. It's got enough juice for those quick highway overtakes and plenty of grunt for hauling yourself up a steep, winding road. But, for an adventure bike, horsepower is only half the story. Torque is where it's at, and the RTX is rumored to have 28.5 Newton meters. If horsepower is how fast you hit the wall, torque is how far you move the wall. It's the bike's muscle, it's raw pulling power. This is what's going to get you through the tricky stuff, crawling over rocks or just cruising on the highway without having to constantly downshift. It's a really, really important number. Okay, so we've got a great engine, but all that power is useless if the bike can't handle it, right? So let's look at the other half of the equation, the design and the chassis. How has TVS built this thing to take you from the daily commute to a mountain adventure? You can just look at this bike and see it means business. It's got all the classic adventure cues. That sharp fairing and that big windshield, that's not just for style points. That's to keep the wind off you on long rides. And under the bodywork, it's built tough. We're talking a strong steel trellis frame, and up front, it's got those upside-down or USD forks. That's premium stuff that really helps with handling and stability when the road gets bumpy. And check out the wheels. This is a classic sign of a true adventure bike. You've got a bigger 19-inch wheel at the front and a 17-inch at the back. Now, why does that matter? Well, think of that big front wheel like a monster truck tire. It makes it so much easier to just roll right over obstacles, rocks, potholes, whatever the trail throws at you, without getting knocked off your line. It's a huge confidence booster. All right, so it's got the power, it's got the body, but this is TVS we're talking about, so it's going to have the brains too. Let's dive into the tech, because the RTX 300 is shaping up to be a pretty smart machine. Yeah, this thing is probably going to be packed with features. We're expecting a beautiful full-color TFD display, the kind you can connect your smartphone to. That means you'll likely get turn-by-turn navigation right on your dash. On top of that, we're hearing about multiple ride modes and maybe even traction control. These aren't just novelties anymore. They're becoming must-haves, and it looks like TVS is delivering. So let's recap. We've got a brand new engine, a purpose-built design, and a full suite of modern tech. Sounds great, right? But here's the 2.5 lakh rupee question. How much is it going to cost? And how does it compare to the competition? Because this is where the fight really happens. Okay, get ready for this. The rumored price is around 2.60 lakh rupees ex showroom. Now, that is a killer price point. If TVS can actually hit that number, they're not just playing the game, they're flipping the entire board over. That price would seriously undercut some of the main players and make this an incredibly attractive option for a whole lot of riders. But, of course, the RTX 300 isn't just showing up to an empty party, it's walking into a full-on brawl. You've got the established champion, the KTM 250 Adventure, which is known for its performance. And then you have the more accessible options, like the Honda CB200X. TVS is trying to fight on both fronts, which is a really bold strategy. So, there you have it, a fresh engine, a proper adventure design, all the tech you could want, and a price that could change everything. It looks like TVS has put together a really compelling package here. They've shown their hand. So the big question I have for you is it enough? Is this the bike that could lure you away from the competition?